Welcome back to the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel. Today's episode, we're getting back to fixing Project Corvette, and behind me I have my brand new project, so be sure to stick around. So I have my latest project up on deck, and it is a white former coupe, and it's not to be mistaken with my 67 over here, which is also a junkyard dog. The big goal for this project is to put the coupe roof back on it, put a new deck on it, put doors on it, and make this a split window again. So there's a lot of work that's got to go into this because somebody went and just hacked the roof off. They cut it right around the teardrop of the coupe and just took that whole section off and the doors. So we're going to have to put all that stuff back. Now you may be looking at this thinking, wow, this thing is pretty rough, but it has, some custom 2x4 stuff back here. It's got a little bit of flop and cracks. Taillight panel, well, that's shot. Quarter panel, shot. The rear deck, because they cut the teardrop off, and this thing must have been wrecked a number of times because it has some repairs in this area. So someone was doing some science projects on this, but this thing is actually surprisingly solid in terms of the cabin. So the rockers underneath the fiberglass here, the steel rockers are really solid. The floor is actually pretty nice other than a couple little holes and cracks. It's very solid in the front. The windshield frame itself is really strong and in good shape. Everything is in nice shape in terms of the stuff that I would normally fix. The stuff that's bad is, well, stuff that we'd typically have to replace anyways. So we're gonna have to remove all the old rear fiberglass off of this, fix the floor, but luckily I have lots of donor parts. So I have a whole donor roof over here, which was probably from a car that was rolled over because the whole thing is just twisted. The good news is it is also rusty, it's not just twisted, so that's fine. So I've got some rust repair to do. We need a whole new front windshield cross member, but we'll be able to set this on top of the car, which I'll show you. So if I throw the roof on, you can see how bent it is back here, and up here, she's way out in no man's land, but what we're gonna have to do is get this roof on my birdcage jig, and we'll straighten out these pillars. I can't put the jig on the car just because the whole car's built up. We're not gonna strip the floor out of this car. We're gonna leave the cabin the same, and this car will go on an aftermarket chassis, so I'm not really concerned about all the big holes. We'll fix it up so it's structural, but a lot of that's gonna get cut out. I have some 63 doors here, which look really nice on the surface in terms of the door skin, but if you flip them around, well, they're missing all the guts. It should look a little bit more like that. So these doors were from a race car, and they were crashed. Oh, this guy had them October 7th, 2010. That's cool. So they cut the whole steel structure out of the door down low and the whole fiberglass structure. So before we can even use these doors, we have a lot of repair work. This is what that structure should look like. It was cut off right about here. So I need to graft in this door structure, and I have a donor convertible door, which was painted several times. We're gonna go ahead and sacrifice this door for its inner structure. We're gonna steel that, graft it onto these doors to make them usable. So the order of operations is pretty simple in my head. Once we fix the doors, we'll get the doors mounted to the car, make the doors fit the quarter panel. That way we know we have a good body line. Then once I'm happy with that fitment, we will make the roof straight. So I need to fix all the pillars and then start fixing some of the rust. Then we'll go ahead, once I'm happy with that, graft the roof into the car, make all that one piece. And then we can go ahead and remove this fiberglass, fit the rear deck on this car, roof skin, inner structure, split bar, get all that stuff fitting up. We'll fiberglass the top of it when it's all mocked up on the car, pull it off, flip it upside down. We'll fiberglass the inside, then we'll install that reinforcement. We'll set the whole thing down as one piece, just like I did on the Field Find car from front to back, glue the whole thing down in one big piece, and then the car will actually be in pretty good shape at that point and almost ready to leave. So it looks like a lot of work, because it kind of is, but we have good parts to work with. This has good bones. The structure of this car is good. The fiberglass is good other than this. But this fiberglass is really nice. This was once from a split window, and you can tell because of the way that it is. But also it's got the little pillars in here, pillar pockets, just like this guy did. You can tell by the clips. It was a Riverside red, just like my car. But also the biggest piece of evidence is the fact that it's got some Bondo here covering a hole. So, you know, originally this car would have had a split like this. And in the 60s, it was cool to cut these out, which this is probably a cutout split that came from that era. Somebody cut the split out and they filled it with Bondo, and the Bondo is now breaking out. So this will be a really nice piece. I have another roof skin under here that'll go together. So all these pieces will get grafted together to make a really nice rear deck. And then we'll have a really nice looking project car that'll be pretty much ready to go home at that point. So I have quite a few videos to make here, probably 1 or 2 videos on the door, 1 on the birdcage. We'll have a video on stripping off quarter panels, the rear deck, getting the new stuff to fit, grafting the new stuff together, bonding the new stuff on, and doing some gutter work, and this thing should be about ready to head home. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I have a lot of videos coming up on this car. To start off, we're gonna start fixing the doors on this thing, and then start building the roof, getting the rest of the fiberglass off the car, reskinning the car, and just sending it down the road. So there's a lot of videos coming up that you're not gonna wanna miss, and I have a lot of work to do, so I'll catch you guys later.